welcome to the Southern View election special. We've had fascinating journey throughout South India, but today is perhaps the most important message that we bring to you, like we brought before the day of the Phase 1 polls in Chennai. Today the message, come out and vote Bengaluru, across the country, across Kerala, but importantly Bengaluru, because this is one of the cities that's often suffered from what's called urban apathy. If Karnataka has a 68% turnout, Bengaluru will end up having a 53% turnout, which makes it 15-16% more lazy population in Bengaluru. What explains that? I have two very articulate, committed voting Bengaluru citizens, Harish Bijoor, brand expert, and Priya Chetty Rajagopal, who will try and explain to us not just why Bengaluru has low voter turnouts, but also send out a strong message to young Bengalurians to come out and vote tomorrow. Harish, you often come out with great branding messages. Friday evening tomorrow, Thursday evening now, tomorrow people thinking Friday, Saturday, Sunday, holiday, I'm going to head out on Thursday night. What's the message to them?
Well, Veeraraghav, first of all, lazy is not a word for Bengaluru. We are anything but that. We are just laid back. Okay, and I hope we are not going to be laid back as voters. Now, Friday is a terrible day to be out here voting, because Saturday and Sunday and the long weekend comes in. I really hope that we vote better. Last election, we voted 52%, and my point is that this election we might end up with 56, not beyond it. Prove me wrong, guys. Prove me wrong, Bengaluru. And that's what I would say. It's a terrible thing, but then we don't step out.
Well, the Bengalurians need to prove that 56 can turn into 65.
Well, I think this is a difficult one. I'm still saying we'll not go beyond 56, okay? If we go beyond 52, I'm happy. But prove me wrong, Bengaluru. Prove me wrong, guys.
What a fascinating challenge to start this. Prove Harish Bijoor wrong, and he'll be glad to be proved wrong, right, Priya?
Absolutely, absolutely. No, you have forgotten to factor in, Harish, the incredible hate wave. So when it comes to Bangalore, we need just the smallest excuse to be able to be completely sort of implode, and this heat wave is certainly one of them. But kidding aside, I mean, I agree with Harish completely that, there has been a bad set of statistics and metrics in the past, but we really need to prove those numbers wrong. Now, what I see is increasingly people who are getting a little bit more involved in the civic space are also realizing that the right to vote and the duty to vote are, they work together. You must sort of exercise that. And there are other things that I do need to be able to say. I have a little bit of a negative reaction to the word apathy. There are words that stick, and I believe the more we use the word urban apathy when it comes to Bangalore, which I believe as a civic city we are the last. We are very, very go-getting. We have a voice, etc. So I hope that next time around the word apathy will be replaced by something else which says laid back is a good word. And I don't know what else to use.
Callous, careless, many different words.
Because, I agree with your emphasis and passion on that, because it's not like, I didn't want to, because this impacts our country, the world, everything. So apart from the thing about the issue we also need to look at is the baseline and the voter list is a little wonky. Example, my father passed away, God rest his soul, July. And we have given the death certificate, we've removed his names from the voting list. But guess what? When the voter slip comes along, his name is still there. So there is a serious issue. And 30% of the missing voters in the last few years have been clearly sort of aimed at the youth and the migrant population. And Bangalore, to give us credit, has a huge, again, the word migrant is inappropriate, but we do have a lot of people who have their voting slips elsewhere in the country or may not be able to travel in time. So these are things which hold us back.
Migrant population, these are major issues, but the more important issue is why is it lower in urban areas? And it's not just Bengaluru, it's across the board. Why is it lower in urban areas? I also have Sandeep Shastri join us from New Delhi. He was supposed to be here in Bengaluru, but he's there in New Delhi right now attending a conference. Sandeep Shastri, you decipher much of politics. You try to predict which political party is going to win, who's going to get what vote share. Do you have an explanation for low voter turnouts in urban centers, especially for Bengaluru, given that you're an old Bengalurian yourself, sir?
Veera, I thought of asking you that question because you represent Bangalore youth, but then I'll answer it myself. Veera, if you look at it right since 1983, Bangalore city has had among the lowest voter turnout in whichever election you do, assembly or Lok Sabha. I think the reason is multiple. The most important is typical middle class apathy. This saying, I love democracy, I hate politics. You want India to be a democracy, but then you don't want to get your hands messy with this politics. I think more importantly for Bangaloreans, they have the influence, they have the power, they have the capacity to get their problems solved. So they don't need the elected representatives to be able to do it for them. And unfortunately, Veera, this time again, the voting is happening on a Friday, which is one day before two holidays. So the advantage of taking 3 days holidays is very tempting for a lot of people. But I'm just hoping, praying and wishing that this time around, the Bangalore voter, the young voter is a little more civically aware and takes her and takes his duty of voting more seriously. And we have a little higher turnout in Bangalore, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I'm not too sure whether it'll actually happen.
Well, the Friday election phenomenon, you say, I must tell our viewers that Sandeep Shastri, even when we used to do exit polls and we had to fly to Delhi, would wake up early in the morning, take a late morning flight, finish his voting, come down, and the first thing he will proudly say is that I've voted. I can say that I have voted because I'm a Chennai South voter and I voted in the first phase. Sandeep Shastri, you're planning to come back. What's your message to the youngsters here?
Veera, for every young voter in Bengaluru city, this city is a city you are investing in the future. This is the city for you as you grow. If that city is to improve, if that city is to be a better place to live in, you can make a difference by voting. You can make a difference by electing a representative who you think cares. So go out tomorrow and vote. And Veera, I'm getting back to Bangalore tonight. I'm taking a late night flight in order that tomorrow, if you ask me that question, did you vote? I can show you and say, yes, I voted. So I'm back in Bangalore midnight so that I can exercise my right to vote tomorrow first thing in the morning.